I'll try to make a talk video about some of the issues that are on my mind since I'm largely bedridden with a sprained knee. I was born in 1960. My first impression of the adults in the world around me was that they were wonderful people. Most of the ones who I knew were educators who came from the era of Franklin Roosevelt's regime in Washington. So they were full of hope and saw the prospect of the Peace Corps, diplomatic society, and responsible attitude towards educating people of all races. It's idealistic and war-tempered objective. None of them were thought of as naive. They had all been through war, were World War II veterans. JFK was so honored by them for his wartime service and intelligence that he was nominated and elected President of the United States. When he was dethroned by murderers, so was the intellectual heritage that he represented. And there was a terrifying and catastrophic war in Vietnam that we're still, unfortunately, debating as though we've never become enlightened from our own absurd behavior. The people who we backed up there, the French, were allies of Japan. They were Axis French, known as the Vichy. So the Vietnam War is where America began to go fascist, something that we're in grave danger of. I joined the ecology movement when I read Buckminster Fuller, who spoke of the chemical irretrievability in store if we didn't change our industrial behaviors. I was also loyal to my generation who had gone the direction of something which maybe could have been reasonably contested, which was freedom of romance. And some of my early lovers were people who took care of their own bodies. They had girls' gym teachers. They weren't afraid of birth control. And we had healthy, productive relationships with no unwanted pregnancies. And because I was very young, I took that to be a new normal, largely resulting from science. But when AIDS happened, I could feel the crunch of a strange militia, which had targeted me and inflicted brain injury, so I looked into it. These people, of course, exasperatingly pointed their finger at me and say, sure, he's going to save the planet, look at his personal behavior. So they were then stalling and refusing to listen to anything about ecology because they had this bizarre program they were pursuing. And I warned people, and it didn't matter, even when they released COVID, they didn't matter. They were fabricating all sorts of smutty stories about me that were, inebriating them with stories of unadmitted juvenile delinquencies and racism and all of these other strident, loud, untrue things that they were using to orchestrate for, the Trumpy tune thrill. But it wasn't just him. Obama and all of them were doing it. They seemed to get a real kick out of the fact that I was, in place to sort of inherit Roosevelt's sensibilities and prestige. It's not something I was looking to do. I was raised to think of myself as just being one of the people. It's a shame that it's taken all these turns. You can see by what they did to my mouth that they're poison criminals. They hit me with a nerve agent.